How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Flip for Wealth series, Manatee Gaming. So today is going to be episode number 5, and this is going to be items returning to their standard value. So jump right into it here because I want to try to make these videos a little bit shorter than what they normally are. But here we go. I've got a couple examples here, and I'll be able to explain a little bit more in depth. So in order for you to use this method of flipping / investing, you're definitely going to want to use some graphs. So the wiki actually has perfect graphs for this. You don't really need to go back much further than the last year. Honestly, in order for this method to be mostly relevant, the last 1 year to maybe even as short as 6 months time frame is where you actually want to be focusing. What you're looking at. And there's the coffee down in the background. Oh yeah, coffee time. So we'll look right here at mahogany planks, for example. So we know that some items typically go up in price during double EXP, but how can you make money aside from those double XP? Like double XP is pretty much it's like an auto win. It's kind of like free money. um, Double Experience Weekend is, I mean, we've seen Double Experience Weekend roll around so many times now, and every single time it happens the exact same way, where items go up. Maybe not every item will go up in the same amount, or in some items might just stay pretty similar to what they were. But in general, no matter what you buy, you're going to make a little bit of money on it, at least during Double Experience Weekend, and sometimes quite a bit of money. But outside of Double Experience Weekend, there's also some guaranteed time frames to make some money too. When I say guaranteed, I mean I'm saying like 90% plus of the items that you could buy will work for this. So I guess guaranteed is not actually the best way of saying it, but if you know what items to buy, then you are pretty much guaranteed. You just don't buy the items that would not work. But anyway, I'll get a little bit more into it so you guys understand what I'm talking about. So right here we see how kind of like there's an arc, like a swoop right here where it goes up to this peak, down, and then up to this peak. And some items are a little bit more a little more clean than that one. Oh, that's not a very good example. Here we go. This one's much more dramatic. So it's just got that sweep right there. So the idea right here is you want to buy it close to the price that is at a low point. So if we hop back to our mahogany planks, and you know what, I'm going to start with the super magic potion example because it's actually such a easier to read graph here. So if you look at the very bottom here, and this is going super magic potion 4, on the very bottom here it says super magic potion 4, 4,818 each. And we look at the high points of this, and 77.68 over there, and then over here it's 70. Come on, there we go, 73.77. So in general, if you're stocking for Double Experience Weekend, you can see that 48.18 is going to be a great price to buy these up to save them to 73.77. I mean, that's kind of common sense right there, and that's how Double Experience Weekend flips pretty much work. But the thing is, there is another time where you can make a lot of money too. And a lot of people, most people that play RuneScape, in all honesty, do not have enough money to constantly buy all of these items all the way until next Double Experience Weekend. It would take several billion gold, several billion gold in your bank. I mean, in all honesty, you could probably spend a couple trillion gold in order to stock up items all the way Double Experience Weekend if you count how much you could be buying in the Grand Exchange with alts and whatnot, and how much you can get by just doing forum buys. So yeah, I am totally just AFKing this right here. Oh yeah, oh yeah. So if we look at this right here, so if you do not have enough money to just buy as many Super Magic Potions 4s, this is just our example, by the way. Don't take Super Magic Potion 4 as like something you should run and buy. It's not a bad item, but I'm not telling you to go buy it. I'm just showing you this as an example. If you have them for 48.18 and you don't have enough money to keep on buying them all the way until they get up to this point, what you can do actually is you see how 48.18, wherever it went right there, is actually much lower than even halfway through, like 55.66 or like 58. See, as you can see, it kind of levels out right here. It kind of goes between 53 or 54 and 58 and 59. It kind of swings, like stays right around there. And this is quite a bit of time right here too, by the way. Well, what you can do actually is you can buy these up really hardcore at this price. You can sell them at one of these prices when they level out. Most items, and I'm gonna give a little bit better example for what I'm talking about right here. Let's look at pack yaks actually. So Pack Yaks right after Double Experience Weekend. I believe this might be that. Yeah. So 38.50 is what they hit in the GE. Keep in mind all these prices shown here are GE average prices. These are not the actual prices of the items in the Grand Exchange, most likely, because you can buy and sell things above and below mid. So maybe these were actually 3,700 in the Grand Exchange or whatever. But anyway, it shows on the mid price of 38.50. So if you look in the Grand Exchange, you say, hey, I can buy this item for 38.50, and then you're thinking to yourself, I wonder if it'll rise. Well, look at the graphs, and that's basically what I'm trying to explain to you guys in this video. I know it's kind of confusing because there's like it's a little more depth. I'm trying not to get too in depth with it and confuse everybody. But if it's 38.50 and you're able to buy, and you see that like it's standard. If you look at this price, it's like 4,080, 4,100, 4,090, blah blah, 40, 40. It's just between 40.50 and 41.50. That's basically what they stay at for pretty much forever, until they suddenly rise for some reason at like this price right here. Which, by the way, this is because of PVM update. PVM updates will typically make Pack Yaks rise. But if you see these things right here, it's typically this price. So if you're able to buy these items in here for $38.50, then you know that you can pretty much buy as many as you could possibly buy with all the money in the world to be able to resell them at $40.50, $40.60, $40.80, $40.90, whatever. So that's kind of what I'm talking about here, guys, is items returning to price. It's not necessarily... this is a much safer and much more consistent way of making money than to buy an item and be like, I wonder if this item is going to go up in the future. I wonder if it's going to skyrocket in the future. If we look on this graph right here, we see that Pack Yaks in the last year only rose to 4,600 one time. They rose up a little bit here, but not anywhere near as much as this. So if you were trying to make significant money off an item such as Pack Yaks, if you're waiting for that spike, you might be waiting for a year. Or if we look back here, you might be waiting for even longer. And yeah, we saw them go insanely high for Invention release right here. But as you see, though, they don't really spike up much like in the past, like in their almost entire history. They don't really spike up too much. So a much more consistent way of making money is buying them when they are low and then selling them when they return to price. And actually, if you look at the 30-day average price on here, it actually says what the average is. So that average is a great way to tell like what they would return to where you could sell them for. So it says 30-day average is 40.81. And you see that 48.1 is pretty consistent over the entire year. If you're buying them for 38.50, then you can pretty much, you can pretty much just count on the fact you're going to make 230 gold each. And with an item like, as you see right there, where it says buy limit of 5,000, if it has a buy limit of 5,000, then that means you could buy a pretty significant amount of them, and then like per 4 hours per account. So if you're going to make 230 each, I mean, that's 1 million gold per account per buy limit, which makes that very, 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 very lucrative and definitely worthwhile doing. There are lots of items like that, and I'll show you another item here pretty quick too. All right, so we looked at Pack Yaks. Go ahead and get rid of that one. Mahogany planks, another great example. And mahogany planks are actually an even better example than Pack Yaks because of the fact that mahogany planks fluctuate a little bit more than Pack Yaks do. Also, there are certain factors. Well, you actually know what? I'm not going to get into that because I'm not going to try to manipulate any prices in here. But maybe I'll tell you guys about that later. But there is something with mahogany planks. Just keep it in mind. Look at like, yeah. All right. Without trying to manipulate or whatever. Look at previous events or previous updates that RuneScape has done as to where mahogany plank prices could be going in the future. I'll just say that. So right here we see the mahogany planks. You can buy them for like 1,900 or so after Double Experience Weekend. Over here they dropped down to like 2090 pretty recently. But what they commonly will do though is they will return back to about 2,100 or so. If you look at the 30-day average around here, it's right around 2,100. And that's kind of the price, and it's right around 2,100 again here. That's kind of the price you can expect them to be when there's nothing making them rise or making them drop. Double Experience Weekend and other events will make them rise. And then when people are selling them in bulk, that'll make them drop. So a standard average price with nothing really impacting them is going to be right around 2,100 to 2,200. So when you see them in the Grand Exchange, you're able to snipe them for, let's say, 1,950 right here. Or I would say that I was actually able to buy these for about 1,880 to 1,890. I know that by buying them for 1,900, by 1,900 roughly, I'm going to make some good money. I'll make right around 200 to 300 each when I sell them for the average price. So guys, basically what I'm trying to say here by showing these examples is if you know the 30-day average And then you can look at that over the course of a year, and you see that the 1 year average is pretty close to that 30-year average. Or it doesn't really have to be that, but I guess here, let me restart to make this super simple. If you know that the 1 year average when nothing is impacting your item's price is higher than what you are currently able to buy it for, then there's a chance you will make good money. So if you look at your graphs, like look at these graphs, and then you're like, okay, so my GE average on this mahogany plank for the entire year is about 2,100-ish, and I'm able to buy them from the Grand Exchange, or maybe buy them in bulk from a person for 1,900. I mean, it's time to buy. Yeah, I mean, for example, I can tell you guys that I actually went on the forums and I bought 10. I think I bought about 10 million mahogany planks. I bought right around 10 million mahogany planks over like the past couple months for 2,000 each. And that's not, obviously, I'm not going to get into forum buying in this one, but it took some time to do that, obviously, and took some haggling, and most of that was because of the fact that people were throwing them out after Double Experience Weekend. I bought almost all of them right after Double Experience Weekend. I was getting for 2,000 each in bulk. So the reason why I bought that, if you look at the Grand Exchange price now, the Grand Exchange price now is like, I think it's 2130 or something like that. So I made 130 each on 10 million of those. So as you can see, that's quite a bit of money. I made just over $1 billion gold on the mahogany planks. So that just an example of how profitable it can be for you to use this method of buying up stuff that could return to value. Because if you know that and you find people that are willing to sell them in bulk, you can definitely buy them through Grand Exchange, especially if you have a lot of alts. But if you don't have a lot of alts, or just to get them a lot faster without having to worry about the buy limits, buying these off the forums and stuff, if you know they're going to go up, is a really great way to make some extra money, which is exactly what I did in that example I just showed you. So all right, guys, you know what? Let me expand a little bit further into this because I don't really want anybody confused at the lead of my videos. So I really do appreciate you guys watching this series. If you really enjoy it or it helps you out in any way, please hit that like button. I really appreciate the likes on there. And subscribe if you guys want to see future content. I do have lots of plans for more series coming up here after this series as well. One last thing I want to talk about here. So if we look here, and we look at an item such as super magic potions, or even, well, mahogany plate's not a very good example, but if you look at like gems, look at bars, stuff like that, if you know that the item itself, so let's say Super Magic 4, right? Super Magic 4 is made with, well, Super Magic 3, I guess, is made with using a potato cactus and stuff like that. If you know that the materials to make an item, so if we kill this, we know that this is made with potato cactus and a clean lantidime. You can also go by the graphs of potato cactus and clean lantidime and try to speculate what the prices could return to, because they will follow the price of super magic potions, because you have to have these in order to make super magic potions. And we know that for the most part, doing herb lore is kind of a loss, which makes it kind of, I don't know, it makes it a little bit risky. But you know that as super magic potions are rising up, then it's going to bring the price of potato cactus and clean lantidime with them. And so you can kind of speculate and be able to buy up those as well. As far as an overnight flipping kind of thing goes, this is not really like an overnight flipping kind of method. This is more of like a slightly longer term flip. So you can easily try just buying stuff, just like trolling the bottom of the Grand Exchange and buying up what stuff you can. Like, for example, if you know the Grand Exchange current price, like it shows right here, is 53.44, and you know that the GE average over the last year, let's just throw an example out there, is 5,600, and you think they're going to return to that price pretty soon, then you can just buy as many of these as you possibly can at 53.44, and then hope they return to 5,600 within the next week or two, and you make a pretty good flip. Well, all right, guys, I really do appreciate you guys watching the video, as I said, and I pretty much already said everything for the end of this video. So I will go ahead and let you guys go now, and I will see you guys in the next video, in the next Flip for Wealth series.